Have you ever wondered why your blood pressure stays high even after cutting back on salt? What if the real cause has nothing to do with sodium at all? The truth is, millions of people are treating the wrong problem. They've been told for decades that salt is the villain, that sprinkling a little too much on your food is what's pushing your blood pressure up. But new science tells a completely different story. Your body's pressure system is far more complex than that, and the hidden cause is something happening deep inside your metabolism. What you're about to discover might completely change the way you think about heart health forever. For years, doctors and nutrition experts have repeated the same advice: reduce salt, avoid processed foods, and drink more water. While these are good general tips, they often miss the real driver behind hypertension. Many people who strictly limit salt still find their blood pressure stubbornly high. Some even start feeling weak, dizzy, or fatigued because their sodium levels drop too low. This means salt alone can't be the whole story. The body needs sodium for nerve function, muscle contraction, and fluid balance. In fact, too little salt can sometimes make blood pressure worse, not better. So if it's not salt, what's going on? Inside your body, every cell depends on a delicate balance between sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These minerals control how fluids move in and out of your tissues, and how your blood vessels relax or contract. When this balance gets disrupted, your arteries start tightening, your kidneys begin holding onto more fluid, and your heart has to push harder to circulate blood. The major disruptor of this balance is not salt, it's insulin. When you eat foods high in refined carbohydrates and sugar, your insulin levels rise sharply. Over time, this constant elevation creates a condition known as insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is like a silent switch that keeps your body locked in high alert. Your cells stop responding to insulin efficiently, forcing your pancreas to produce more. This excess insulin tells your kidneys to retain sodium and water, even if your salt intake is low. The result: more fluid in your bloodstream, greater pressure on your arteries, and chronic high blood pressure. This process happens slowly, often without symptoms, until your readings start creeping up. Most people blame age, stress, or genetics, but the real culprit is the modern diet loaded with processed carbs, sugary drinks, and hidden sugars in nearly every packaged food. Think about the average day. Many people start their morning with toast, cereal, or pancakes. These foods may seem harmless, but they spike insulin fast. Lunch might include a sandwich, some chips, and a sugary beverage, another insulin surge. Dinner often involves pasta, rice, or potatoes, followed by dessert. When insulin remains elevated all day, the kidneys keep recycling sodium and water, blood volume rises, and blood pressure climbs. You could cut all the salt you want, but until insulin stabilizes, your pressure will never truly normalize. This is why so many people take medication for years without ever fixing the root problem. Blood pressure drugs may lower the numbers temporarily, but they don't address insulin resistance or the inflammation it causes in the arteries. High insulin levels also damage the lining of blood vessels, making them stiffer and less flexible. As the arteries lose elasticity, blood can't flow smoothly, the heart pumps harder, and over time this constant strain wears out your cardiovascular system. Now imagine the impact if you could turn off that hidden switch. Studies show that lowering insulin through dietary changes can significantly reduce blood pressure, often without drugs. The most effective strategy isn't just reducing salt, it's cutting down on sugar and refined carbs. When you limit foods that trigger insulin, such as white bread, pastries, soda, and even fruit juices, your body begins to reset. Insulin levels drop, kidneys release excess fluid, and your arteries start relaxing naturally. This not only lowers blood pressure but also improves energy, focus, and fat metabolism. Inside your arteries, something remarkable happens when insulin falls. The endothelium, a thin layer lining the blood vessels, begins to heal. Nitric oxide production increases, helping blood vessels dilate and transport oxygen more efficiently. Your heart no longer needs to overwork to maintain circulation. Even your kidneys begin functioning better, filtering waste without holding onto unnecessary fluid. The entire system rebalances itself because you're addressing the real cause rather than masking the symptom. Many people believe genetics determine their blood pressure, but research shows lifestyle plays a much bigger role. While you can't change your DNA, you can change how your genes express themselves. A diet low in refined carbohydrates and high in nutrients can literally switch off the genetic triggers for hypertension. For example, magnesium, found in foods like spinach, almonds, and avocados, helps relax arterial walls. Potassium, abundant in leafy greens and bananas, counterbalances sodium and helps flush excess fluid. Vitamin D supports hormone balance and immune function, both essential for healthy blood pressure regulation. When you combine these nutrients with healthy fats, such as those from olive oil, eggs, and salmon, you create a stable internal environment where insulin can function properly again. This is why people following low-carb or ketogenic diets often report lower blood pressure within weeks. They're not just cutting calories, they're reducing insulin, inflammation, and fluid retention all at once. The beauty of this approach is that it costs almost nothing and doesn't require medication. Your body is fully capable of healing itself once you stop overloading it with insulin-triggering foods. Let's not forget about stress. Chronic stress raises cortisol, another hormone that works hand in hand with insulin to retain sodium and fluid. When you're constantly worried, overworked, or sleep deprived, cortisol stays elevated, and so does your blood pressure. Stress through use stop resisting what's PINF breathing, walking, or short meditation sessions can dramatically help. Quality sleep is equally important because poor sleep increases both cortisol and insulin resistance. One night of disrupted rest can raise blood pressure the next day. Physical activity is another key factor. Exercise helps your muscles absorb glucose without needing as much insulin, lowering overall levels naturally. It also strengthens the heart and improves circulation. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. Even 30 minutes of brisk walking or cycling daily can have measurable effects. Consistency is more important than intensity. Over time, exercise helps normalize your insulin response and reduce vascular stiffness, making your blood pressure more stable. The environment you live in also plays a part. Many people are unknowingly exposed to toxins that disrupt hormones. Plastics, pesticides, and processed oils can all interfere with insulin sensitivity. Avoiding these as much as possible and eating clean, whole foods supports your body's natural ability to regulate pressure. Hydration matters too. Drinking enough water helps flush excess sodium, supports kidney function, and balances electrolytes. However, remember that hydration isn't just about water, it's also about minerals. Adding a pinch of sea salt or electrolyte powder to your water can actually improve balance, especially if you're cutting out processed foods that used to provide sodium. As your insulin sensitivity improves, your body starts to burn fat more efficiently for fuel. This shift reduces inflammation throughout the body, lightens the workload on your heart, and stabilizes blood sugar. Many people who take the metabolic route to manage blood pressure find other benefits too: clearer thinking, reduced cravings, and steady energy levels all day long. The longer you maintain this lifestyle, the more resilient your cardiovascular system becomes. You may be wondering how long it takes to see results. For most, noticeable improvements can appear within 2 to 4 weeks of changing their diet and lifestyle. Some people even experience a drop in blood pressure after just a few days of reducing sugar intake. If you've been relying on medication, it's essential to work with a healthcare professional before making changes, as your dosage may need adjustment when your numbers start improving naturally. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Salt has been wrongly accused for decades because it was the easiest thing to blame. It's easy to measure, easy to control, and easy to warn against, but the true problem lies within insulin resistance, a hidden metabolic dysfunction driven by modern eating habits. When you fix that, everything else falls into place. The key is not fear, but understanding. When you know how your body truly works, you can support it instead of fighting it. So the next time you see your blood pressure numbers rising, don't immediately think about your salt shaker. Think about your insulin, your sugar intake, your stress levels, and your sleep. These are the real levers that control blood pressure. The foods you eat either heal or harm. They either balance your hormones or push them out of sync. When you give your body whole, nutrient-rich foods and time to rest and repair, it responds with balance, clarity, and strength. The hidden cause of high blood pressure isn't about cutting flavor from your meals. It's about cutting out what's silently damaging your metabolism. When you focus on insulin control instead of salt restriction, you unlock the body's ability to heal from within. The best medicine doesn't always come in a pill. Sometimes it's just about returning to natural foods, restoring nutrient balance, and respecting how the body was designed to function. Your blood pressure isn't your enemy, it's your body's signal asking you to pay attention. Listen to it, support it, and it will take care of you for years to come. If you want lasting results, start by replacing refined carbs with vegetables, healthy fats, and clean protein. Stay hydrated, get good sleep, move daily, and manage stress in ways that calm your system rather than overdrive it. You'll be amazed at how quickly your body responds once you remove the root triggers. The answer was never hiding in the salt shaker. It's been hiding inside your insulin levels all along.